Bickley and Marotta.
Bickley and Marotta mornings.
Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The Suns caught a break at the NBA draft lottery. They were spared the indignity of the Rockets snagging Cooper Flagg with a draft pick that was once theirs, and they were spared Cooper Flagg landing in San Antonio next to Victor Wembanyama, birthing yet another Spurs dynasty that would haunt us for years. That's the good news. But when Dallas emerged with the number one pick, it was also a reminder that the Western Conference is only going to get tougher. And it was a painful reminder that anybody can win the NBA draft lottery, but you need to have control of your draft picks. There is also a fear that the Rockets are no longer a viable trade partner for Kevin Durant, a team that also has control of the Suns' first-round picks in 2027 and 2029. And if they have strategized around our demise as a basketball town, why would they want to send those picks back to Phoenix? But one of the most interesting developments from all of this is the Rockets' sudden disinterest in Devin Booker because of his regression as a player, a season in which he just wasn't the same guy, where many fans believe he just doesn't care the way he once did. I hope Book gets wind of all of this, and I hope it fires up the furnace, because if the Suns have any shot, any hope of winning basketball games in the future, they need Devin Booker to turn back the clock to the time when he was actually better than Donovan Mitchell. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Yeah, there was some interesting reporting coming out of Houston yesterday from Kelly Eco and Sam Amick on The Athletic, talking about the Kevin Durant possibilities with the Rockets. And, you know, it's been widely reported now the Rockets probably not going to have interest in Kevin Durant, but have also moved off their interest, which was widely reported earlier, in Devin Booker. And you brought it up in the Blast, Bick. Part of the write-up and part of the reason why, at least according to sources close to the team, is that the Rockets still have belief in Jalen Green, and also look at Devin Booker and his struggles this past year have kind of turned them off, which is absolutely 100% ridiculous thinking. Devin Booker did not have his best season last year. We can all agree on that, right?
Yes, we can.
Even through his struggles, he was one of 4 NBA players who averaged 25 points and 7 assists. There were only 4 qualified players that did that. If that's your struggle, if that's your floor, you're a pretty damn good basketball player. And doing that in support of Jalen Green. We talked to Kellen Olson yesterday, and Kellen is convinced Jalen Green is playing his last game for the Houston Rockets. And I'm not sitting here pining for the Suns to trade Devin Booker, and certainly not for Jalen Green.
No.
But that rationale is laughable. Jalen Green absolutely shriveled in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I know it's his first time to the playoffs. Go back a few years to Devin Booker's first run in the playoffs. The guy scored back-to-back 40-point games in the NBA Finals, for goodness sake. The rationale was ridiculous.
Well, to me, I think a team from the outside might have watched some Suns games and might have seen some of the times when Devin Booker did not seem all that engaged, and maybe said, you know what, what we have isn't that far away from Devin Booker. Either way, like I said, I do think that there was a time when Devin Booker was better than Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell has continued to grow, and Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, is clearly a superior player to Devin Booker right now. Book has got to get that back. Book has got to get the grip back on his ascension as an NBA superstar, and then I think the Suns have a chance to kind of get out of this in a way that may not be as painful as some of us fear.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I would have no problem ranking Mitchell above Booker right now, but a lot of it has to do with where they're at. And I'm not talking about where they're at in their careers. Cleveland under Kenny Atkinson, they're against the ropes. They're probably going to get bounced. But the culture that they've been able to build over this season has been palpable. They took a good team. A lot of people were surprised when J.B. Bickerstaff got the axe last year. They moved on to Kenny Atkinson. He wins Coach of the Year. They win 64 games. There's a really good roster, a functional roster around Donovan Mitchell that has allowed him to continue to grow. Devin Booker was part of a dysfunctional roster with the Phoenix Suns. And for me, the most disappointing part about Devin Booker and his lack of stepping up last year wasn't statistically, as I pointed out. The statistics were still pretty good. it was what you brought up. The lack of engagement at times and
It's the general vibe.
The lack of vocal leadership until it was too late.
Yeah, well, listen. And
I think he got beat down by the situation,
I think so,
quite
too.
honestly.
No, I think so, too. I'm real curious because there were various reports last year from various people that I'm not sure if they had any insight that Devin Booker and Kevin Durant didn't get along as famously as they once did. I wonder if there's any truth to that. Because we know that Mike Budenholzer clearly didn't help the spirit of Devin Booker. And so I wonder what else maybe contributed to that.
Yeah, I wonder too. And look, we talked a lot about the lack of cohesion in relationships with players that Mike Budenholzer had. And the focus was on Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
The focus was on Yusuf Nurkic when he was still in town. And the focus was on Kevin Durant because of what we saw with our own two eyes on the court. That one at least got explained away. I wonder if the fracture between Booker and Budenholzer wasn't deeper than any of those.
Could be. Yeah, could very, very well be. I mean, for a guy like that to finally break and tell the media after that game some of the things that he did, it was sort of a window into the team and into where Book was, and it wasn't a good look, not necessarily on his behalf, but just in terms of if you're really trying to grow this guy as a leader, telling him to pipe down is not the way to go about it.
No.
But I do think it's very, very important that the Suns package this now as, okay, we're gonna try to ascend with a new voice, and we're gonna really get this right. And we're going to get what we can for Kevin Durant, and then we're going to just ride or die with Devin Booker. Now, there is another option, and I've been hearing this from a lot of people. As Mikal Bridges continues to play very well, would this team ever go and reverse that trade? Literally trade Kevin Durant to the Knicks for a package that includes, as a centerpiece, Mikal Bridges. You talk about a great PR move, but
you want to talk about wait and see.
Well,
I mean,
Mikal Bridges is now like a hero in New York.
Well, I know. You're right.
I mean, he clinched 2 games with defensive plays at the end of the game. He's
Uh-huh.
been making a
Played good
lot
yesterday.
of big shots. They're up 3-1. They're likely going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I would give them certainly a decent chance to get past Indiana. They'd have home court advantage in that series.
They might be going to the NBA Finals.
So, yeah, wait and see is right.
I mean, if you're
Wow.
looking at it from purely the Suns' perspective, that is a way to, in the mind of fans, win a trade because you're getting
Without a
back a
doubt.
fan favorite.
Without
You're
a
not getting
doubt.
back just young,
Right.
rotation players and draft picks.
Yeah.
I get it, but, I mean, the goal can't be to cater to the fans on terms like that. Because I say this with all due respect, I'm one of them. Generally speaking, Suns fans are idiots.
A little over emotional.
Am I wrong?
No, but again, it's the PTSD. I don't think they're idiots because they're idiots. I think it's all the trauma. It's been too much. We have been mentally abused as a sports town.
Yeah, you somehow
no doubt
have.
about that.
Somebody said the number 1 pick in the NBA draft should continue to go every year to the teams that have gone the longest without a championship. And then the list changes after one of them wins. Sign me up for that, right? Because we're at the top of that list.
Are we ahead of the Kings
Well,
or the Clippers?
The Kings won a championship in Cincinnati way back in the day, didn't they?
yeah,
I
they did.
think, or Rochester.
Rochester, that's maybe what it was. But they haven't been exclusively in Sacramento.
Okay, so the cities. Same with the Clippers then. They started in San Diego.
I have advice for the Suns, even though they don't have a lottery pick.
Uh-huh.
They're drafting 29th. ESPN came out with their mock draft today now that the draft order is set, basically. Yaxel Lendeborg.
Oh, okay.
Is it
Yaxel,
kind of
that's who you want?
Kind of an intriguing guy. Played 3 years at Arizona Western, by the way. But here's my advice to the Suns on number 29. Because everybody looks, they don't have a lottery pick. There's no help coming. You can find guys. You just have to be good at it. Call the San Antonio Spurs. 3 years in like a 4 or 5 year stretch, Bick. At number 29, the Spurs found Keldon Johnson, DeJounte Murray, and Derek White.
Wow.
with the 29th pick each time.
Wow.
Call them. What do you look? What would you be looking for at 29? And we'll go down that road.
That's 2 U.S. Olympians.
Who's the who's the GM in San Antonio?
Why is the name escaping me?
It's on the tip of my tongue as well.
Well, now El Jefe is the president, so
Yeah.
I don't know how much impact he has.
Was it
It's current general manager Brian Wright. Is that correct? Peter Holt. Oh,
That's the owner.
He's the owner.
Yeah.
R.C. Buford.
That's him. R.C.
He's
Buford.
the guy. He was the guy that had all the. But he's now the CEO. He's no longer the general manager.
Okay. So yeah, you're right. You can find the guys, and that's where you hope that Brian Gregory does have a knack and an eye for talent.
And it also depends on what you're looking for at 29.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams that are drafting 29 don't have a lot of roster availability, so they'll draft a European guy that they can stash for a couple years. The Suns need somebody at 29 to come in and play well next year.
I also the big domino to fall is going to be where Giannis wants to play. Everyone's speculating on how the Spurs can. We have no idea whether he wants to play in San Antonio. So Giannis once spoke about how he'd love to play in Chicago, but the Bulls have anything of interest?
No.
I think Miami's the sleeper destination.
Yep.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.